We brought up the tattoos.
Yeah.
So where have you gotten them done?
Indiana is a few,
Mm-hmm.
which Indiana has really cheap tattoos because I guess the tax is different on the ink.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that's what they said it was. Yeah.
I wonder how that operates. I didn't even think about that element. They're a lot like our industry in the way that they're
like
represented, or I guess. Yeah.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And then Florida.
Okay. I have a couple from
Florida.
My shittiest one is from Florida. It's on my back, thank God.
Mine's on my side. Yeah,
oh, really?
So, yeah, that's good. And then Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
Love that
Another
one.
beach tattoo? I mean, Savannah's the beach.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then here.
I have a couple random ones from here. The weirdest place I got one was Prague. That one was cool.
Love that.
That's this one. That's that one.
I love that one.
And so it's funny because I had originally wanted this person to do it because I found her work online. That's the first time I actually like researched somebody.
Yeah.
And she was so good with like fine lines. And the fact that I picked a skull, I thought I was going to do it on my back. And then she convinced me to do it on my arm. And for the longest time, I love the tattoo and not the placement.
Yeah.
Because it feels like very like that there's nothing around it. But I love it so much that I don't even care. Like, it was just more about the experience. And
isn't that crazy? Like a tattoo artist convincing you of something different.
Oh, yeah. I'm the
just
easiest
because
self.
It's forever.
No, like I
think I'd be so scared as a tattoo artist to convince anyone of anything.
I think I actually disagree with you. I think you would be so good at it because we do that for our jobs.
Yeah, but that could be changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not I do always say that to my clients. I'm like, look, this bob is not like a tattoo.
Yeah.
Like we can do things to tweak it, grow it, whatever you need.
But that's what I also tell everyone. I'm like, things I'll spend money on, tattoos, hair. Hair really could, I mean, you bleach it, it's bleached forever. So like you do like mine, we haven't done mine in like 2 years.
We literally,
I mean, it's actually been like a little over a year.
We keep like saying we need to do it, but then we keep booking shit on ourselves.
Yeah.
In a good way. It's all good stuff. We're like, fuck our hair. We're going to try to develop our business. Yeah, exactly.
Really
we're representing this economy right now for sure. I mean, speaking of the economy, let's get to our subject of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Attaining clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, there's a lot.
There's a lot. There is a lot.
And it's also so different depending on where you're at in your career, I feel like. And also geographically, or what generation you're in.
Yeah.
Because we're in 2 different generations. So we've had to do that in different ways just because of the timing that we got into our industries.
Mm-hmm.
So if we went from 0, like you leave cosmetology school, what do you think was the first thing outside of, maybe getting an apprenticeship or whatever that is? What was like you're on the floor as a hairstylist? What was the first thing you focused on when you were like, I need to get clients?
Mine definitely was social media just because I didn't know anyone.
Right.
But I think about it, it started way before even hair school. So maybe I had a little bit of a jump on that. I did. I think about people that do like hair school and they don't really want to post their stuff from that. And then I think about like, then they do maybe an apprenticeship.
Right.
That's another while where they're not really getting a whole lot of content.
True.
Which like maybe a little bit, but still maybe not. It's usually better towards the end of that if they are posting that
like
stuff.
The quality.
What I mean? Yes,
that makes
like
sense.
where they would want to post it. You know what I mean? Even just learning to take photos is hard. Like you could do the most beautiful hair and you take a photo. That's what I hear most often. They're like, it looks so good in person and it looks like so bad in a photo.
Like I'm the worst at it.
But
I hate it.
I had been doing weddings for a really long time before I went to hair school. So
I'm making this face because same.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Continue. And then that's really funny.
So in high school, I was doing weddings for people.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. So
this is so weird. That is so weird.
So I had a lot of styling photos that I was using.
Yep.
Which their color looked great. Even the cuts looked great if their hair was down. I wasn't doing the color and cuts then, but I styled it. So I posted it. But then that also like not that I was claiming that I did the color cut by any means, but like the hair just looked good.
Yeah.
So then people like go to the page and it just like looked good.
Totally.
So that's why I tell my assistants too, like, if I do like a really amazing color and cut on someone, but you do this style,
yes,
like take a photo and post it. And like it might feel silly being like, style by me, blah, blah, blah.
No,
but people aren't
good.
necessarily going to look at your captions.
Yes.
And I don't care personally if they look
No.
at your page and think that something I did was like something you did. At that point, it's not even like it's false advertising. I don't think it's just creating a vibe when they hit the page.
Yes.
And I think that's a really important thing. It's not even so much about like, here's this beautiful hair I did. It's like they went to the page.
Yeah.
Are they initially like attracted to it?
Yes.
Even like your vibe, the vibe you're creating from your page is so important. In the beginning, I don't even think it's so much about like, here's this hair.
No.
Like, are you like educating in your...
Yeah.
Maybe you did a blowout. You're an apprentice. You did a blowout for, you know, the stylist that you're working with. And you post all about like maybe a step-by-step.
Right.
Maybe you take pictures along the way, like of your sectioning or something. Like value in the caption.
Yeah.
And then like you have a cute little carousel of photos.
Yep.
That's like just nice to look at.
Yep.
I think that
like they're expecting this is what I'll look like when I leave. And that matters more than like it doesn't matter what you do half the time in the appointment. It matters how they look when they leave. And that kind of builds up that story in their mind.
That's what I think like for new stylists, the thing is like I don't care so much necessarily about your hair content at that point. I care about like your brand.
Yeah.
Start creating your brand so early.
Yes.
So early. And then that way, whenever you have like the hair content to like follow, it's like already set up and ready to go. You know what I mean? The page
100%.
is like ready to launch, been ready,
like
been
they
happening.
can make those carousels of educational pieces that you've made.
Yeah. And you're building your credibility
like
while
does.
doing
And
that.
yeah,
exactly.
like I'm going to post my 5 favorite products and tell you why they've changed my life and why they'll change yours. Back to the wedding thing, that is the craziest fact I've learned about you, only because that's the same thing I did.
I love that.
That's how I knew I was good at hair.
Yeah,
and so
same.
while I was in cosmetology school, and this was in Virginia, you could get hours in Virginia if you worked at a salon or anywhere that had
did you work at a salon?
So I worked for a spa and they sent me out to do destination weddings all in Virginia.
I was front desk at a salon.
Oh, that's so funny. And I did work there too.
Yeah.
Also,
I did like inventory and stuff.
I learned all of that from, and this is my girlfriend, Kristen, owned it at the time. Shout out to Kristen. And I met her at, this is also where I'm going to go back to, I'm a big fan of networking events, putting yourself out there. So when I began cosmetology school, I went to this networking event in the town that I was living in. And I met this girl and we instantly were like, she's such a business badass. And we just were drawn to each other. I was 19 years old. And she started hiring me. So by the time I wasn't even like 500 hours into my cosmetology license or my schooling, I was getting sent out to do hair and makeup for like big weddings with a lot of money. Yeah.
Love it.
And so she taught me early on that hustle.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even do hair. She's a makeup artist, but she's just a badass business owner. But it put that drive into me and it also gave me extra hours. Like I would go to cosmetology school 5 days a week. I would bartend at night. And then on the weekends, I'd be doing these weddings.
Yeah.
And that taught me so much about styling. And styling is truly the most important part, especially for a new stylist. No, it's 100%. Like if they can't learn anything, they need to be bomb at styling because that's the only way I have retained my clientele. Because in the beginning, like when I moved to Nashville, I'd done hair for a few years, but I was doing bobs that were like not cute.
Yeah.
But like I still have some of those same clients today. But it's because I was able to educate them. I was able to do a great style and teach them how to do it. And I was able to pre-book them and get them to agree to come back to see me.
Yeah.
And then my favorite thing, and I don't know if you've heard this from any of your clients, but I love when my clients are like, it just gets better every time.
It is actually
and it should. And you know what I say? I literally say, well, shit, it's better because if it gets worse, you better fire me. Or they'll be like, wow, you're a magician. I'm like, look, if I'm not good at this shit, y'all better fire me by now.
Yeah.
That is so crazy that you did that with weddings.
Yeah.
Wow. Fun fact. Okay. So square one, you believe building a brand.
Yeah.
Like build a brand before you even have the clientele.
Totally.
Okay. And then do you believe in getting models?
Yeah.
And then what is the balance there? Because there is a balance.
Balance in like models versus like clients, like actual paying
or
people?
Just like, like making sure you're not turning your clientele into all models.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
What I did is I did an apprenticeship. I think everyone should do an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I will die on that hill.
I would die on the hill because it took me longer.
Even if it's a shitty apprenticeship.
Yeah, something.
Like, I just think if it is a really bad apprenticeship, like you're seeing a lot of stuff that you're learning from. Yeah. Maybe it's not even like you're learning because you're doing it, but like you're watching other stylists in the salon. You're learning what's working, what's not working, just from the exposure of the salon environment without the pressure of like performing right out of school.
Correct.
I think is so important. So like a lot of an apprenticeship is a lot of like almost self-discovery and self-teaching.
100%.
With the guidance of someone.
Yes.
Like more than school, but still less than you'll learn from yourself.
Yep. I didn't do one. And that's that is the hill I will die on because of that.
Yeah.
So I graduated school. I lived in an area where there really wasn't that. And so I just started doing hair.
Yeah.
And I was really good at the business part. I wasn't good at the hair part. I moved to Nashville a few years later. I mean, I was good. I was good enough to like come to Nashville, work for a salon where we charged $65 for a haircut in 2011.
Exactly.
So yes, I was good, but it was more of like I was fucking winging it. Like I was that stylist. Like the stylist that people see me as today, I was not that stylist back then.
And see, when I did my apprenticeship, I hate to say it. I don't think I didn't learn a whole lot more than I knew whenever I left school. It was more so just like the time of doing it.
Yes.
But more than anything, it gave me a chance to start building my clientele before I even needed the clientele.
Totally.
So like,
and establish yourself with the location and brand you were at. Too.
It gave me like time to do models without missing out on an income because I didn't have days that I was working yet.
Yep.
I specifically sought out finding models that didn't expect to be models. So like,
correct.
There is a model page, and I think that's great, like for reaching out, or like the Facebook groups where people are like in it for that, which, you know, like Nashville Girls Group, that's a thing. But I was looking for more people that were like,
could they be
didn't
future
even
clients?
really know that existed.
Yep.
That way I'm like, hey, I'm doing some extra learning. I need a model. Your hair is like hair that I like. You know, long, beautiful hair, whatever.
Yes.
Some people like to do short hair. Some like curly, some like long. Some people really hate doing thick hair. I like doing thick hair.
I like all hair. I
looked for people that I was like, that hair will like, really at the time, that hair will picture well.
100%.
Which is really thick, long hair.
Like
it's
gorgeous.
Just easy to take a photo of. You don't have to work too hard because I didn't know how to take photos. So I was like looking for those people. And now I would say maybe like 30 to 40% of every model I took for the year, a little bit less than a year of my apprenticeship, are still my clients now.
That's freaking incredible.
Yeah.
And that's because you didn't rely on people that expect to be a model.
Exactly.
So when I moved to Nashville, I knew immediately, I was like, I'm good, but I'm stressed the fuck out because I don't know a lot. I didn't go to a nice like cosmetology school.
Yeah.
I love the owner. She was amazing, but I did it because I was like, I know I'm a hustler. I know I can get through this. I'm going to go to a non-accredited school, get my hours and get out of here. And so I didn't learn a lot at all. And so by the time I moved to Nashville, I was like, I know I need to learn more. And so that's when I just started showing up, and I would like look at different brands' education. This was before Instagram. And I was like, okay, that brand is going to teach me a lot because their education's fucking awesome. So I'm going to try to learn everything I can. And I was like, I'm going to teach for you guys. And they're like, no, you're too young. And I was like, that's fine. I'm just going to go to somebody else. And I went above them and I went to their president, and he was like, I like her. Let's get her here. Yeah. And then I just kind of weaseled my way in, literally, and started teaching. And that's how I learned, was because I had to teach.
In the beginning, my mentor, she said something like, whenever I started at the salon, she was like, where do you want to be? And I was like, obviously I want to be in the top few.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, who are those people? So she like drew a little circle on paper and wrote down like the top people's names, and you were at it. And she was like, there's a seat at the table. You just have to get there.
You just have to get there.
And so that's basically, I think that's like such the theme for like building a clientele from like starting out. Like, what seat do you want, and like, how are you going to get there?
Yep. And it's just having that confidence in yourself that you're going to do it. I think people get so in their head about it. And it's just as simple as believing in yourself and also knowing your goal and what you want. And building that credibility for yourself. So that's what I did is I built credibility for myself, and instantly it took my clients, they were like, wow, she's investing in herself. She's learning so much. She's traveling and teaching. If you're teaching, you have to know something. Mm-hmm. That's the marketing of that. Well, doesn't mean it's true, but that is the marketing of it.
The confidence that comes with that. That's what I tell my assistants now. I'm like, in the beginning, people are going to sit down in their chair and they're going to ask you how old you are and how long you've been doing hair for. I hated that.
It's so true.
And you want something to like counteract that. I'm 21.
You're like, I'm actually a color educator.
Yes, go do something. Like I became an educator for our salon whenever pretty much
you graduated.
I graduated and then I was like, I'll be an educator. And so then I did that. Then I could tell people, oh, I've been doing hair for like, I count school counts.
It does count.
I've been doing hair for 2 years and I'm an educator at our salon for our apprentices now. That feels better to everyone involved. And it's like, no, you don't need something like that. You know what I mean? But
it's helpful.
On an artificial level, it like works.
It does. It's marketing.
Yes.
It's all about that. And I knew I needed that.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it.
Yes.
And then it took my confidence and my journey and just catapulted it.
Yeah.
And maybe I could have just done it if I had just left school, went into an apprenticeship, and then a year later, I probably would have done that. That's why I always say, I will die on the hill that you should do an apprenticeship.
Yes.
Because was my way cool? Sure. But it took, by the time that credibility was established, that was 5 years into my career.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yep.
But like back then it wasn't. But at the same time, I'm like, if people could just, I don't care what school you go to, you could go to a shitty school.
Yeah.
If you go to an apprenticeship afterwards, you're going to learn so much. And like you said, it doesn't have to be about the techniques. It could be about the business.
Exactly.
Or you'll find a stylist there that you're like, I'm going to connect with that person.
That's why I do think apprenticeships are good. I almost think like assisting is, I prefer that.
I am glad we do that.
I'm so glad we do that. But, you know, so would you say then basically if we were to like write it down on a piece of paper so far, the points that we think are most important, one would be creating your brand from the start, finding your brand, creating your brand from the start.
Yes. And then aligning yourself either with an apprenticeship, if you're at the square one of your career, aligning yourself with an apprenticeship or brand, whether that's a salon or a brand, that's going to help build you up from the very beginning. And they're going to help establish that, hey, we know you're new and we're going to support you. I think that's two. That's like that's option number 2. Option number 3, in my opinion, is put yourself out there physically. I think, yes, thank God for social media. Yes, thank God for the internet. However, there is nothing more powerful than in-person connection.
And how are you doing that?
How do you do that? So there's a lot of different ways. And we've talked even about this at our Hair Talk Coffee Club meetings. Find something you love and go connect there. Because if you find something you love and you go and connect there, then you're instantly going to have an easy, organic conversation with somebody there to where then you can connect with other people. So for me, that was music. And so I would just go to like every music event I could think of. I would go to, if I heard there was like CRS week, which is like the radio week here, I'm like, I'm going to weasel my way in there. I'm going to go find executives there. I'm going to go chum them up. And then I'm going to do their hair and then they're going to talk about me. And that's how I did it. Every bar I went to, because that's, you know, millennials, that's what we did. I would go, I'd bring my cards, I would talk to them. Nikki at our salon, she talked about how she did that with the book trivia club. Yeah. Genius. It's like if you do it in a way that you're at a gym, you're going to talk to people at the gym.
If you're at a gym, ask them, can I bring my card and maybe do like a little giveaway situation? Like they put their name in the fishbowl and then I pull one at the end of the month.
And when I first moved here, do you remember Vistaprint? It's like, okay, you probably don't because you're younger than me. Fuck. I think there's going to be
sounds familiar.
It's going to be like a part of our episodes where I have this moment and we'll just like create a little theme song for the moment I realize I'm older than you. Vistaprint is like, it's probably still around. It's like just like a online printing company. And I made my own cards and the Blush Boutiques that's still here, I knew the general manager there and she was having a fashion show and I was like, hey, can I put a giveaway in your swag bags? And I made these cards with my face on it. I wonder if I can still find one. My face on it, put where I worked at. And then I said for every color you get a free haircut with
Love
me.
that.
I got so many clients that I still have to this day from just that one event.
Yeah.
So there's ways that you can do, and I was 21. Like that's where you have to take that initiative on your own. I worked for a commission salon. To expect them to do that for me, that's just never going to be the case.
Yeah.
And the reason that when I left that salon 5.5 years later, that all of my clients followed me is because I got those clients because of myself.
I think that there's groups of potential clients. I mean, there is. This is like a known thing in like marketing, which is like basically you need to know your consumer. In the beginning, when you're starting out, it's people that don't know you exist.
Yes.
It's really just 100% of your potential clientele are people that don't know you exist.
Right.
Then like the next step is like people that know you exist but aren't sure if they want to get their hair done. They like think they might need something, but they don't know what it is.
Right.
Third step is like they know that they need their hair done.
Yep.
Now they're trying to decide whether it's you that's going to do it.
Correct.
And then the next is they know that you're going to do their hair. It's just a matter of when.
Yes.
So in the beginning, it's like you need those people to know who you are.
Yep.
How are you gonna show up and get them to know who you are?
Yep.
Second step is tell them what they need done with their hair.
Yes.
Reach out to them.
Yes.
Then the next step is now they're trying to decide if it's you or not. Value. That's how you're going to pull them in.
Like, why are you different than any other person that can do blonde highlights?
Yes. And then the next step is when? Get them on the books.
Yep. That's the truth.
So
that's a perfect breakdown.
Yeah.
It's totally about telling people what they need.
Yeah.
I think it's the same with tattoos. Like this is the perfect example.
Yeah.
I wanted a tattoo. I didn't know who. So I looked up where.
Yes.
Ooh, there's a really good artist in Prague. I'm going to look her up, or I'm going to look at what she does. Okay, I know what. And so then I start DMing her, and she tells me based on what I'm DMing her what I need.
Yes.
And then
that's
it's the when.
third step. Yeah.
And then it's the when, and she booked me.
Yeah.
And it's just that simple. I always, in the very beginning, used to tell stylists to treat their consultations, which we'll talk about at a different time, like a tattoo artist would, because when the client is in my chair, it is my responsibility to tell them if it's going to look good or not, if it's possible, or what I'd recommend for them. And I do the same thing out in public.
Yeah.
Like when I'm meeting somebody, I'm telling them what I do for a living. I'm telling them what they need.
Yeah.
I'm not asking what they want.
Exactly.
And that sounds terrible, but it's not, because then it takes away, like, my job is to make this the easiest part of their life.
Yeah.
Getting your hair done should be very easy.
Yes.
And if they have to do all this homework and look up techniques, that's too much. I want them to send me inspo. I love that. But my job is to tell them what they actually should get.
Yeah.
And it's the same in public. And I feel like that confidence is why people came to me. And I think that's why they come to you as well, is that they know that I'm going to tell it like it is in a good way because I care about them.
Yeah.
I also care about the work that like a tattoo artist doesn't want something that they're not good at walking around or in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, I want it in my back, but she's like, I really think you should put it here. Honestly, she spoke a different language, so I'm not sure, but I believed her. That's how good she was.
Ended up with
I was just
something.
like, bitch, I don't know what you're saying, but like, yes, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And I trusted her and like made a completely different permanent decision because of it.
Yeah.
And that shows that I believed she was an expert because of her branding.
Exactly.
Right? I didn't even know her.
Yep.
I just found her online. All that to say is step 1, build yourself with a brand. Step 2, what was our step 2?
2 was kind of like getting yourself out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get
people to know you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that one of the best ways to get new clients though, for me, and this might be backwards from what we just said, for me, it's getting my clients to get me new clients.
That's what I was about to say. There's like the difference of starting out building a clientele from nothing. Then whenever you have a little bit of a clientele, it shifts.
Yes.
And it's honestly because like now it's same steps that we were talking about. The 1, 2, 3, they don't know you exist. They know you exist.
Correct.
They don't know they need it yet. You tell them what they need, they book it.
Yep.
Maybe you're not starting at like part 1 then if you're an established stylist already.
Right.
You're starting at 3. So people know you exist. People know they want their hair done. Now they're at 3. That's like the value. Like you're going to tell them what it is that they need.
Yep.
And so that's usually coming from existing clients. They're sending people to you. You're bypassing 1 and 2, and now they're in your chair.
Yep.
And you're going to give them value. And then from there on out, it's a repeating cycle. So then it's like you do the hair, then you need to get them back on the books. That's pre-booking.
Yep.
And then it restarts again. You can build an entire clientele once you really, truly.
You just need like 5 people. It's so wild how finding one person, and that one person is a real example that I have on that chart. And the clients that she sent me and the clients that they sent me, I can't even list them. There's not enough room on that chart.
It's kind of like the beginning of time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
how they say like from Adam and Eve.
I looked up a family tree and I copy pasted that and used that.
You just need your Adam and Eve client, and then the entire rest of your clientele is built like the rest of the world. It's just like,
and that's where from her, I then, which I would love to have her on one of our future episodes because Bella's also a badass and she is young like you and doesn't even not even licensed to do hair, but does hair and makeup. And she's in charge of like the creative work for a major record label here in town. Like badass. But anyways, I digress. She found me when she was 15 on Instagram. Right. And this is before I went to Local Honey. So this was like 10 years ago. And she found me, she was a paying client. And I chopped off her hair and gave her a blunt bob with like a root. And I was like, this chick is going places. She's just a badass. And so when I was moving to Local Honey, I said, can I use you as a model? Mm-hmm. And then from there, I can't even tell you how many people she sent me. It's insane. Yeah. And I wrote down some of it, but I'm like, that doesn't even cover all of it in the 10 years that I've known her. And I have some from her that just on that chart that I did, Bella per year equals a minimum for me, $14,000 take home.
Yeah.
That's not services. That's what I take home.
Yeah, exactly.
That one person. That doesn't mean she's spending that.
Yeah.
That means that's because of the people that she has sent me.
Yeah.
And it's so wild to think that I can make my clients work for me in that sense.
That's literally what it is.
Yes.
When you are like working off of like word of mouth or like referral,
right? They're
building your clientele for you.
Yes.
You just need to really commit to those, like, call it your core group.
Yep.
You know, and let them know they're your core group.
Yes.
Other clients that aren't in that core group that, you know, maybe they're just not as outgoing. Maybe they're not one that's going to be like, oh my God, look at my hair.
Right.
You need to, you know, they're still great clients.
Yes.
You love them, you need them, you want them. But your core group are those people that are like spreading you like wildfire.
Yeah, your little PR people.
Yes.
That pay you. And that's what's crazy is everyone she sends me pays me and then they send me people.
They're like OG influencers in their community. You know, it's not like they are an influencer on social media, but they're like your personal influencer.
I'll tell you what, I always say that they are a micro influencer because
they are.
She doesn't even have 10K on Instagram. It's not even about that.
Yeah.
It's about who she is in the community that I need money from.
You know what? I have a lot of clients that are social media influencers with like few 100,000 to million followers.
Right.
And I love them to death. They do great things for me.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
That's
subject.
like a good content building for you.
They do my content building, which builds my credibility.
Right.
Whenever I use that content was made for free. Again, you're making your clientele work for you.
Exactly.
Love them to death. They are like doing that for me.
Yeah, that's like your step one of building your brand.
Yes. But it's different. My clients that are my like core clients that aren't like mega social media influencers, they are like real time bringing me in real people that are like walking through the door.
Real money.
Yes.
Yes.
And the influencers are too, but it's more like exposure.
Yes.
But people see really large videos that are like doing like giant things and it doesn't feel as attainable to be like, I'm going to go to their hairstylist now.
Correct.
People do. Don't get me wrong. I've gotten quite a few people from them, but it's just whenever it's like that micro influencer, it's like they're talking face to face with a person and they're going to be walking through that door.
I think it's
just different. It's different things, different value
so important.
That comes from those things. But the influencer thing is not a like need to happen thing.
No, I think to recap that, the influencer thing is so important to establish content and credibility in a way where you don't even have to film or edit it. They'll do it for you.
It's easy.
And then they post it and you can repost it. So that builds account credibility or SEO for like your brand.
Yeah.
But do you need an influencer to repost you to get you clients? No. Exactly. What you need is good clients to talk in person and connect with people in person to get clients. So I think it's a yes and. Yeah. I don't think it's one or the other.
Exactly.
I think it's both. And I think that the value in the influencers is utilizing them to get you free content.
Yeah. I think main theme for all of this is you do your work on the front end.
Yes.
Your brand.
Yes.
You make sure you're providing quality work. You make sure you're bringing value to the table. And then the second part of it is using your clientele to work for you.
Yep.
So there's two parts, what you need to do and what you need to have your clients do.
Yep.
But they don't even know. It's not like you're employing them to do something.
No,
for
it's
you.
not even a conversation. Like
Exactly.
honestly, with models, I will encourage sometimes if people are going to establish a model, like, hey, you need to tell them like, I'm doing this because I need you to send X, Y, and Z. However, with the example that I use, I never had to have that conversation with her.
Yeah.
She just does it.
Honestly, I truly believe every single client, if a client is coming into your chair,
Yeah.
it should be that.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're like, hey, maybe you are saying, hey, go talk about me, please. That'd be cool. But you don't have to. It's you as a person.
Yeah. It's the value you're giving them.
It's your consultation and all of that that is then going to like lead them to leave and talk about you.
Totally. I definitely have never even felt the need to be like, make sure you refer a friend.
Yeah.
Make sure you review me. Make sure you Yelp me. I literally, I'm not trying to be mean, but I hate that.
If they're not leaving and referring you and talking about you, that's a problem.
I think you need to
assess
assess your
operating
offerings.
as.
Yeah, assess your offerings and what you're doing starting in the consult, which we can talk about that. I think that's where consultation and value, that's a separate topic entirely.
Yeah.
Because so now we're talking about this is how you get clients.
Yeah.
Now we need to talk about, and we don't have to do this in this episode. We could do that in a different one.
Yeah.
How do you retain them?
Yeah.
Value. And where does value start in? Yeah, once you got him, where does value start at? Your consultation. Yeah. Square one. But I definitely think that just food for thought, build your brand, utilize social media. Is it annoying? Sure. Then have somebody do it for you or have influencers do it for you. Do trade. Like all influencers, if you're like, hey, I will do your hair for free if you build me like a couple posts a month, use them.
Yeah.
Splice it up. Make a bunch of content from that. Use social media. Reach out to people. Connect in person. There's nothing like connecting in person. I will die on that hill.
Well, and I feel like what we do for people too is we look at, here's the clients that you've brought in. Did you retain them or did you not? Mm-hmm. Are they talking about you or are they not? Mm-hmm. Have people come from them or have they not?
Yep.
There's ways for us to like dissect that.
Totally.
And see like at what point in the process
did you lose them?
Have we gone wrong?
Yeah. It's like, did you convert them or not?
And maybe it's from the start. Why are you not getting people in your chair? We can look at that too.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
That I feel like getting people in the chair is a little bit easier
than keeping them.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what we do as coaches is we find the exact point because it's hard to see whenever it's you. It's hard to look at your own stuff and be like, where have I fucked up?
Yeah.
But someone else can tell you for sure.
Totally.
And that's what we're doing for people.
If we can assess not only the skills that you have, but also the business skills that you have, then we'll be able to tell you.
Exactly.
It's just that simple.
Yep.
Man, I feel good about it.
I feel good about it.
This was another episode of Hair Talk Coffee Club. I'm Carly Ray Cody.
I'm Gray Nosco.
Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, go to our link in our Instagram and follow what we do from there.